Welcome back to Footnotes and Folly, and to Richard II. I am Pemberton. This is part 3, and a poet king discovers that grief is no defence against an army. Richard lands at last from Ireland, kisses the English earth, and calls on stones and spiders to fight for him, and then, as messenger after messenger brings worse news, he collapses into a kind of luxurious despair, sitting on the ground to tell sad stories of the death of kings. Before the walls of Flint Castle he comes down, glittering and weeping, to give himself and his power into Bolingbroke's hands. A gardener and his men moralize the ruined state of a realm left untended. The Queen overhears her husband's fall. And then, in Westminster Hall, amid a fresh storm of thrown gloves and a bishop's brave prophecy of the civil blood to come, Richard is brought to give up his crown and unkings himself in a slow, dazzling agony, calling for a mirror and dashing it to pieces. Let us go on.
Drums and trumpets sound. King Richard enters with the Bishop of Carlisle, almoral, and soldiers. A castle stands in view on the coast of Wales. Do they call this nearby place Barclay Castle? Yes, my lord. How does your grace find the air after being tossed so recently on the rough, breaking seas? I must like it well. I weep for joy to stand on my kingdom once again. Dear earth, I greet you with my hand, though rebels wound you with the hoofs of their horses. As a mother long separated from her child plays fondly with tears and smiles when they meet, so I greet you, my earth, weeping and smiling, and stroke you with my royal hands. Gentle earth, do not feed your sovereign's enemy. Do not comfort his hungry senses with your sweetness. Let your spiders, which suck up your poison, and your slow, heavy toads lie in their path and trouble the treacherous feet that trample you with usurping steps. Grow stinging nettles for my enemies, and when they pluck a flower from your breast, guard it, I pray you, with a hidden adder, whose forked tongue may strike with a deadly touch and throw death upon your sovereign's enemies. Do not mock my senseless spell, my lords. This earth shall feel, and these stones shall become armed soldiers before her native king gives way under the weapons of foul rebellion. Do not be afraid, my lord. The power that made you king has power to keep you king in spite of them all. Yet the means that heaven gives must be used and not neglected. Otherwise, if heaven offers help and we refuse to take it, then we reject the aid and remedy that heaven has placed in our hands. He means, my lord, that we are being too slow, while Bolingbroke, because we feel secure, grows strong and great in substance and in power. Discouraging cousin, do you not know that when the searching eye of heaven is hidden behind the globe that lights the lower world, thieves and robbers move about unseen, bold in murder and outrage? But when the sun rises from beneath this earthly ball, sets fire to the proud tops of the eastern pines, and sends his light through every guilty hiding place, then murders, treasons, and hateful sins, with a cloak of night pulled from their backs, stand bare and naked, trembling at themselves. So when this thief, this traitor Bolingbroke, who has been reveling in the night all this time while we were wandering with the antipodes, sees us rising in our throne like the east, his treasons will blush in his face, unable to endure the sight of day, and he will tremble at his own sin, frightened by himself. Not all the water in the rough, rude sea can wash the holy balm from an anointed king. The breath of worldly men cannot depose the deputy chosen by the Lord. For every man that Bolingbroke has forced to lift harsh steel against our golden crown, God has, in heavenly pay, a glorious angel for his Richard. Then if angels fight, weak men must fall, for heaven still guards what is right. Salisbury enters. Welcome, my lord. How far away is your army? No nearer and no farther away, my gracious lord, than this weak arm. Misery guides my tongue and makes me speak of nothing but despair. I fear that being one day too late, noble lord, has clouded all your happy days on earth. I will call back yesterday, command time to return, and you shall have 12,000 fighting men. Today, unhappy day too late, overthrows your joys, your friends, your fortune, and your state, for all the Welshmen, hearing that you were dead, have gone to Bolingbroke, scattered or fled. Take comfort, my liege. Why does your grace look so pale? A moment ago, the blood of 20,000 men triumphed in my face, and now they are fled. Until that much blood comes back into my face again, have I not reason to look pale and dead? All souls that want to be safe, fly from my side, for time has set a stain upon my pride. Take comfort, my liege. Remember who you are. I have forgotten myself. Am I not king? Wake up, cowardly majesty. You are asleep. Is not the king's name worth 20,000 names? Arm yourself, my name. A petty subject strikes at your great glory. Do not look down at the ground, you favorites of a king. Are we not high? Then let our thoughts be high. I know my Uncle York has enough power to serve our need. But who comes here? Sir Stephen Scrope enters. May more health and happiness come to my liege than my care, burdened tongue can deliver to him. My ear is open and my heart is prepared. The worst you can reveal is only worldly loss. Say it, is my kingdom lost? Why, it was my burden, and what loss is it to be rid of a burden? Does Bolingbroke strive to be as great as we are? Greater he shall not be. If he serves God, we will serve him too and be his fellow in that. Do our subjects revolt? That we cannot fix. They break their faith with God as well as with us. Cry woe, destruction, ruin, loss, decay. The worst is death, and death will have its day. I am glad your highness is so armed to bear news of disaster. Like an unseasonable stormy day that makes the silver rivers drown their banks, as if the whole world had dissolved into tears, so the rage of Bolingbroke swells high beyond its limits, covering your frightened land with hard, bright steel and hearts harder than steel. Old white, bearded men have armed their thin, bald scalps against your majesty. Boys with women's voices try to speak roughly and clap their soft limbs into stiff, unwieldy armor against your crown. Your very beadsmen learn to bend bows of twice, fatal you against your state. Yes, women who should hold distaffs handle rusty bills against your throne. Young and old alike rebel, and everything goes worse than I have power to tell. Too well, you tell so bad a tale. Where is the Earl of Wiltshire? Where is Bagot? What has become of Bushy? Where is Green? How have they let the dangerous enemy walk through the borders of our land with such peaceful steps? If we prevail, their heads shall pay for it. I am sure they have made peace with Bolingbroke. They have indeed made peace with him, my lord. O villains, vipers, damned beyond redemption. Dogs, easily won to fawn on any man. Snakes, warmed in my own heart's blood, that sting my heart. 3 Judases, each one 3 times worse than Judas. Would they make peace? Let terrible hell make war on their stained souls for this. I see that sweet love, when it changes its nature, turns into the sourest and most deadly hate. Take back your curses on their souls. Their peace was made with heads, not with hands. Those whom you curse have felt the worst wound of death's destruction and lie very low, buried in the hollow ground. Are Bushy, Green, and the Earl of Wiltshire dead? Yes. All of them lost their heads at Bristol. Where is the Duke, my father, with his forces? No matter where. Let no man speak of comfort. Let us talk of graves of worms and epitaphs. Let us make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the breast of the earth. Let us choose executors and talk of wills. And yet not so, for what can we bequeath except our deposed bodies to the ground? Our lands, our lives, and everything are Bolingbroke's, and we can call nothing our own except death, and that small model of barren earth that serves as paste and covering for our bones. For God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories about the death of kings, how some have been deposed, some killed in war, some haunted by the ghosts of those they deposed, some poisoned by their wives, some murdered in their sleep, all murdered. For inside the hollow crown that circles a king's mortal temples, death holds his court. There the jester sits, mocking the king's state and grinning at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene, to play the monarch, to be feared, and to kill with looks, filling him with self-importance and empty pride, as if this flesh that walls in our life were unbreakable brass. And after flattering him in this way, death comes at last, and with a little pin bores through his castle wall, and farewell, king. Cover your heads, and do not mock flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, tradition, ceremony, and formal duty, for you have mistaken me all this time. I live on bread like you, feel need, taste grief, and need friends. Being subject to all this, how can you say to me that I am a king? My lord, wise men never sit and wail over their troubles, but act at once to prevent more reasons for wailing. To fear the enemy, since fear crushes strength, gives your enemies strength through your weakness, and so your follies fight against yourself. Be afraid and be killed. No worse can happen in battle. Fight and die, and death destroys death, but fearing death only pays death a slave's breath. My father has a force. Ask about him, and learn how to make a whole body from one limb. You rebuke me well. Proud Bolingbroke, I come to trade blows with you for our day of judgment. This fever fit of fear has blown over. It is an easy task to win back what is ours. Say, Scroop, where is our uncle with his army? Speak sweetly, man, though your looks are sour. Men judge the temper of the day by the color of the sky, so you may judge by my dull and heavy eye. My tongue has an even heavier tale to tell. I play the torturer little by little, stretching out the worst that must be spoken. Your Uncle York has joined with Bolingbroke, all your northern castles have surrendered, and all your southern gentlemen are armed on his side. You have said enough. Almer'll curse you, cousin, for leading me out of that sweet path I was in, the path of despair. What do you say now? What comfort do we have now? By heaven, I will hate forever any man who tells me to take comfort any more. Go to Flint Castle. There I will pine away. A king, the slave of grief, shall obey kingly grief. Disband whatever force I have, and let them go plough the land that still has some hope of growing, for I have none. Let no man speak again to change this, for advice is useless. My liege, one word. He does me a double wrong who wounds me with the flatteries of his tongue. Disband my followers. Let them go away from Richard's night to Bolingbroke's bright day. They all exit. With drums and banners, Bolingbroke enters before Flint Castle with his forces. Northumberland and others are with him. So from this report we learn that the Welshmen have scattered, and Salisbury has gone to meet the king, who has lately landed on this coast with only a few private friends. That is very good news, my lord. Richard has hidden himself not far from here. It would better suit the Lord Northumberland to say King Richard. Ah, what a heavy day when such a sacred king should have to hide his head. Your grace misunderstands me. I left out his title only to be brief. There was a time when, if you had been so brief with him, he would have been just as brief with you, and shortened you by the whole length of your head for taking the head away from him like that. Do not mistake things, uncle, further than you should. And you, good cousin, do not take things further than you should, or you may mistake them. Heaven is above our heads. I know it, uncle, and I do not set myself against heaven's will. But who comes here? Harry Percy enters. Welcome, Harry. What, will this castle not surrender? The castle is royally defended, my lord, against your entrance. Royally? Why, there is no king inside it. Yes, my good lord, it does contain a king. King Richard is within those walls of lime and stone, and with him are the Lord Admiral, Lord Salisbury, Sir Stephen Scrope, and besides them a reverend clergyman, though I cannot learn who he is. Oh, most likely it is the Bishop of Carlisle. Noble lord, go to the rough ribs of that ancient castle. Through the brass trumpet, send the breath of a parley into its ruined ears, and deliver this message. Henry Bolingbroke, on both his knees, kisses King Richard's hand, and sends allegiance and true faith of heart to his most royal person. I have come here to lay my arms and power at his very feet, provided he freely grants that my banishment be repealed and my lands restored to me again. If not, I will use the advantage of my power and settle the summer dust with showers of blood, rained down from the wounds of slaughtered Englishmen. How far it is from Bolingbroke's mind that such a crimson storm should soak the fresh green lap of fair King Richard's land, my humble duty will tenderly show. Go tell him that much, while we march here over the grassy carpet of this plain. Let us march without the noise of a threatening drum, so that from this castle's crumbling battlements our handsome force may be plainly seen. I think King Richard and I should meet with no less terror than fire and water, when their thunderous collision tears the cloudy face of heaven. Let him be the fire, I will be the yielding water. Let the rage be his, while I rain my waters on the earth and not on him. March on, and watch how King Richard looks. A trumpet sounds a parley, and a trumpet within answers it. A flourish. On the walls appear the king, the Bishop of Carlisle, Admiral, Scrope, and Salisbury. See, King Richard himself appears, like the blushing, discontented sun coming out of the fiery gate of the east when he sees jealous clouds gathering to dim his glory and stain the path of his bright journey toward the west. Yet he looks like a king. Look at his eye, bright as an eagle's. It flashes out commanding majesty. Alas, alas, for sorrow, that any harm should stain so fair a sight. Northumberland, we are astonished, and we have stood this long watching the fearful bending of your knee because we believed ourselves to be your lawful king. And if we are, how dare your joints forget to pay their reverent duty in our presence? If we are not, show us the hand of God that has dismissed us from our stewardship. For we know well that no hand of blood and bone can grasp the sacred handle of our scepter unless he profanes it, steals it, or usurps it. And though you think that all men, as you have done, have torn their souls by turning away from us, and though we are barren and stripped of friends, still know this, my Master, Almighty God, is mustering in the clouds on our behalf armies of pestilence, and they shall strike your children, not yet born or even conceived, because you raise your vassal hands against my head and threaten the glory of my precious crown. Tell Bolingbroke, for I think he stands over there, that every stride he takes upon my land is dangerous treason. He has come to open the purple testament of bleeding war. But before the crown he seeks can live in peace, 10,000 bloody crowns for mothers' sons shall horribly disfigure the flower of England's face, change the complexion of her maiden, pale peace to scarlet anger, and wet her pasture grass with faithful English blood. May the King of Heaven forbid that our Lord the King should be attacked with civil and uncivil arms. Your thrice noble cousin, Harry Bolingbroke, humbly kisses your hand. By the honourable tomb that stands over your royal grandfather's bones, by the royal blood that both of you share, streams that spring from one most gracious source, by the buried hand of warlike Gaunt, and by his own worth and honour, including everything that may be sworn or said, he swears that his coming here has no purpose beyond recovering the rights that belong to his lineage, and begging immediate freedom on his knees. Once your royal person grants this, he will consign his glittering weapons to rust, his armoured horses to their stables, and his heart to faithful service of your majesty. He swears this as a prince and an honest man, and as I am a gentleman, I believe him. Northumberland, say that the king answers this. His noble cousin is very welcome here, and every one of his fair requests shall be granted without opposition. With all the gracious speech you have, give his gentle ear my kind greetings. Northumberland returns to Bolingbroke. Cousin, we lower ourselves, do we not, by looking so poor and speaking so gently? Shall we call Northumberland back and send defiance to the traitor and die that way? No, good my lord. Let us fight with gentle words until time gives us friends, and friends give us their helpful swords. O God, that this tongue of mine, which pronounced the dreadful sentence of banishment on that proud man, should now revoke it with soothing words. Oh, I wish I were as great as my grief, or less than my name, or that I could forget what I have been, or not remember what I must be now. Do you swell, proud heart? I will give you room to beat, since enemies have room to beat both you and me. Northumberland is coming back from Bolingbroke. What must the king do now? Must he submit? The king shall do it. Must he be deposed? The king shall be content. Must he lose the name of king? In God's name, let it go. I will trade my jewels for a set of prayer beads, my splendid palace for a hermitage, my fine clothing for a beggar's gown, my patterned cups for a wooden dish, my scepter for a pilgrim's walking staff, my subjects for a pair of carved saints, and my great kingdom for a little grave, little grave, an obscure grave. Or I will be buried in the king's highway, some common road where subjects' feet may trample hourly on their sovereign's head, for they trample on my heart now while I live, and once I am buried, why should they not trample on my head? Almerle, you are weeping, my tender-hearted cousin. We will make foul weather with despised tears. Our sighs and tears shall flatten the summer corn and make a famine in this rebellious land. Or shall we play like spoiled children with our sorrows, and make some pretty contest out of shedding tears? Like this, to drop them always on one spot until they have worn us a pair of graves within the earth, and when we are laid there, people can say, "Here lie two kinsmen who dug their graves with weeping eyes." Would that bad thing not be well done? Well, I see I am only talking foolishly, and you laugh at me. Most mighty prince, my lord Northumberland, what says King Bolingbroke? Will his majesty allow Richard to live until Richard dies? You bow, and Bolingbroke says yes. My lord, he waits in the base court to speak with you. May it please you to come down? Down I come, like glittering Phaethon, unable to control unruly horses. In the base court, where kings become base, coming at traitors' calls and granting them favor. In the base court? Come down? Down court. Down king. For night owls shriek where rising larks should sing. The king and those with him leave the walls above. What says his majesty? Sorrow and grief of heart make him speak foolishly, like a frantic man. Yet he is coming. King Richard enters with his attendants. Stand apart, all of you, and show proper duty to his majesty. My gracious lord. Bolingbroke kneels. Fair cousin, you lower your princely knee and make the low earth proud by kissing it. I would rather my heart could feel your love than my displeased eye see your courtesy. Up, cousin, up. Your heart is up, I know, at least this high, although your knee is low. My gracious lord, I come only for what is mine. What is yours, and I am yours, and so is everything. Let only so much be mine, my most feared lord, as my true service shall deserve from your love. You deserve well. They deserve well to possess things who know the strongest and surest way to get them. Uncle, give me your hands. No, dry your eyes. Tears show love, but they bring no remedy. Cousin, I am too young to be your father, though you are old enough to be my heir. Whatever you want I will give, and willingly too, for we must do what force compels us to do. We set out toward London, cousin, is that it? Yes, my good lord. Then I must not say no. A flourish sounds. They all exit. The queen enters with two ladies in the Duke of York's garden. What game can we make up here in this garden to drive away these heavy thoughts and worries? Madam, we can play bowls. That would only make me think the world is full of obstacles, and that my fortune keeps rolling the wrong way. Madam, we can dance. My legs cannot keep any joyful rhythm when my poor heart keeps no measure in grief. So no dancing, girl. Think of some other pastime. Madam, we can tell stories. Stories of sorrow or of joy. Either one, madam. Neither one, girl. If they are joyful, since I have no joy at all, they will only remind me more of sorrow. If they are sad, since I already have sorrow enough, they will add more grief to my lack of joy. What I already have, I do not need to repeat, and what I lack, it does no good to complain about. Madame, I will sing. It is good that you have reason to sing, but you would please me better if you wept. I could weep, madam, if it would do you any good. And I could sing, if weeping would do me any good, and never need to borrow a tear from you. But wait. Here come the gardeners. Let us step into the shade of these trees. I would wager my misery against a row of pins that they will talk about the state of the realm, because everyone does when change is coming. Sorrow is always announced by sorrow. The queen and ladies withdraw. A gardener enters with two servants. Go, you bind up those young drooping apricocks. They are like unruly children, making their parent bend under the burden of their wasteful weight. Give support to the bending branches. You go like an executioner and cut off the heads of the shoots that grow too fast and stand too high in our commonwealth. Everything must be level in our government. While you are both at work, I will go root out the harmful weeds that uselessly suck the richness of the soil away from healthy flowers. Why should we, inside the fence of this garden, keep law, order, and proper proportion, showing in miniature the shape of a well-governed state, when our walled garden, the whole land, is full of weeds? Her fairest flowers are choked, her fruit trees are unpruned, her hedges are broken down, her flower beds are disordered, and her wholesome herbs are crawling with caterpillars. Hold your peace. The man who allowed this disorderly spring has now himself come to the fall of the leaf. The weeds sheltered by his wide, spreading leaves, the weeds that seemed to support him while they fed on him, have been plucked up, root and all, by Bolingbroke. I mean the Earl of Wiltshire, Bushy Green. What? Are they dead? They are. And Bolingbroke has seized the wasteful king. Oh, what a pity it is that he did not trim and tend his land as we tend this garden. At the right time of year, we cut the bark, the skin of our fruit trees, so that, if they grow too proud with sap and life, they will not destroy themselves through too much richness. If he had done the same to great and growing men, they might have lived to bear fruit for him, and he might have tasted the fruit of their duty. We cut away unnecessary branches so the fruit-bearing branches may live. If he had done that, he would still have worn the crown, which wasted idle hours have now thrown completely down. What do you think the king will be deposed? He is already brought low, and it is feared he will be deposed. Letters came last night to a dear friend of the good Duke of York that bring dark news. Oh, I am pressed to death by having to stay silent. Queen comes forward. You old likeness of Adam, set here to dress this garden, how dare your harsh, rude tongue speak such hateful news? What Eve, what serpent has tempted you to bring about a second fall of cursed man? Why do you say King Richard is deposed? Do you dare, you thing little better than earth, to prophesy his downfall? Tell me where, when, and how you came by these evil tidings. Speak, you wretch. Pardon me, madam. I take little joy in breathing out this news, yet what I say is true. King Richard is in the powerful custody of Bolingbroke. Both their fortunes have been weighed. In your lord's scale there is nothing but himself and a few empty vanities that make him light. But in the balance of great Bolingbroke, besides himself, are all the English peers, and with that advantage he outweighs King Richard. Go quickly to London, and you will find it so. I say no more than everyone knows. Swift misfortune, you are so light-footed. Does your message not belong to me? Am I the last to know it? Oh, you think to serve me last so that I may keep your sorrow longest in my breast. Come, ladies, let us go to London to meet London's king in woe. Was I born for this, that my sad face should honour the triumph of great Bolingbroke? Gardener, for telling me this news of sorrow, I pray God the plants you graft may never grow. The queen and ladies exit. Poor queen, if only your condition might be no worse, I would wish my skill were subject to your curse. Here she let fall a tear. Here in this place I will plant a bed of rue, the sour herb of grace. Rue, even for pity, shall soon be seen here in remembrance of a weeping queen. They exit. In Westminster Hall, the spiritual lords sit on the right side of the throne, the temporal lords on the left, and the commons below. Bolingbroke enters with Almerle, Surrey, Northumberland, Harry Percy Fitzwater, another lord, the Bishop of Carlisle, the Abbot of Westminster, and attendants. Call Bagot forward. Now, Bagot, speak your mind freely. Tell us what you know about noble Gloucester's death, who planned it with the king, and who carried out the bloody act of ending his life before its time. Officers enter with Bagot. Then set the Lord Almerle before my face. Cousin, step forward and look at that man. My Lord Almerle, I know your bold tongue would scorn to take back anything it once said. In that dead time when Gloucester's death was being plotted, I heard you say, is my arm not long enough to reach from the peaceful English court as far as Calais, to my uncle's head? Among much other talk at that same time, I heard you say you would rather refuse the offer of 100,000 crowns than see Bolingbroke return to England. You added how blessed this land would be if your cousin were dead. Princes and noble lords, what answer can I make to this low man? Shall I dishonour my noble birth so far as to punish him as an equal? Either I must do that, or let my honour be stained by the accusation from his slanderous mouth. There is my pledge, the hen, a seal of death that marks you for hell. I say you lie, and I will prove what you have said false in your own heart's blood, though you are far too base to stain the metal of my knightly sword. Bagot, hold back. You shall not pick it up. Except for one man here, I wish the best man in this presence had provoked me so. If your courage depends on the rank of the man who challenges you, there is my pledge, Almerle, set against yours. By that fair sun that shows me where you stand, I heard you say, and you said it boastfully, that you were the cause of noble Gloucester's death. If you deny it 20 times, you lie. I will drive your falsehood back into your heart, where it was forged with the point of my rapier. You will not dare, coward, to live to see that day. By my soul, I wish it were this very hour. Fitzwater, you are damned to hell for this. Almo, you lie. His honour is as true in this accusation as you are unjust. To prove that you are unjust, I throw down my pledge, to prove it against you to the utmost limit of mortal breath. Pick it up if you dare. If I do not, may my hands rot off and never again brandish vengeful steel over the shining helmet of my enemy. I challenge the earth to bring the same charge, forsworn Almerle, and I spur you on with as many lies as can be shouted into your treacherous ear from sunrise to sunset. There is the pawn of my honour. Accept it for trial if you dare. Who challenges me next? By heaven, I will throw against all of you. I have 1,000 spirits in one breast to answer 20,000 men like you. My Lord Fitzwater, I clearly remember the very time when Almerle and you talked. That is very true. You were present then, and you can witness with me that this is true. It is as false by heaven as heaven itself is true. Sir, you lie. Dishonourable boy, that lie shall rest so heavily on my sword that it will repay it with vengeance and revenge, until you, the giver of that lie, and the lie itself, lie in the earth as quietly as your father's skull. To prove it, there is the pawn of my honour. Accept it for trial if you dare. How foolishly you spur a horse that is already eager to run. If I dare eat, drink, breathe, or live, then I dare meet Surrey in a wilderness and spit on him while I say he lies and lies and lies. There is my pledge of faith to bind you to my severe correction. As I intend to prosper in this new world, Almerle is guilty of the charge I truly make. Besides, I heard the banished Norfolk say that you, Almerle, sent 2 of your men to execute the noble Duke at Calais. Let some honest Christian trust me with a pledge. That Norfolk lies. Here I throw this down, if he may be recalled to defend his honour. All these disputes shall remain under pledge until Norfolk is recalled. Recalled he shall be, and though he is my enemy, he shall be restored again to all his lands and lordships. When he has returned, we will enforce his trial against Almerle. That honourable day will never be seen. Many times the banished Norfolk fought for Jesu Christ in glorious Christian fields, carrying the banner of the Christian cross against black pagans, Turks, and Saracens. Wearied by the labours of war, he withdrew to Italy, and there in Venice gave his body to that pleasant country's earth and his pure soul to his captain, Christ, under whose colours he had fought so long. Why, Bishop, is Norfolk dead? As surely as I live, my lord. May sweet peace lead his sweet soul to the bosom of good old Abraham. Lords who have brought these accusations, all your disputes shall remain under pledge until we assign you the days of your trials. York enters, attended. Great Duke of Lancaster, I come to you from Richard stripped of his royal plumes. With a willing soul, he adopts you as heir and yields his high sceptre into the possession of your royal hand. Ascend his throne, now descending from him, and long live Henry, fourth of that name. In God's name, I will ascend the royal throne. By Mary, God forbid. I may be the lowest in this royal presence, yet it best becomes me to speak the truth. I wish to God that anyone in this noble presence were noble enough to be an upright judge of noble Richard. Then true nobility would teach him to refrain from so foul a wrong. What subject can pass sentence on his king? And who sits here who is not Richard's subject? Thieves are not judged unless they are present to hear it, even when their guilt is plain. Shall the image of God's majesty, his captain, steward, chosen deputy, anointed, crowned, and established for many years, be judged by the breath of subjects and inferiors, when he himself is not present? O God, forbid that in a Christian land, refined souls should display so heinous, black, and obscene a deed. I speak to subjects, and I speak as a subject, stirred by God to speak so boldly for his king. My lord of Hereford here, whom you call king, is a foul traitor to proud Hereford's king. If you crown him, let me prophesy, English blood shall fertilize the ground, and future ages shall groan over this foul act. He shall go sleep with Turks and infidels, and in this seat of peace, violent wars shall set kin against kin and kind against kind. Disorder, horror, fear, and mutiny shall live here, and this land shall be called the field of Golgotha and dead men's skulls. Oh, if you raise this house against that house, it will become the most woeful division that ever fell upon this cursed earth. Prevent it, resist it, do not let it be so, unless you want child and child's children to cry out against you woe. You have argued well, sir, and for your trouble we arrest you here for capital treason. My lord of Westminster, it is your charge to keep him safely until the day of his trial. May it please you, lords, to grant the Commons' request? Bring Richard here, so that in public view he may surrender. Then we shall proceed without suspicion. I will conduct him. York exits. Lords, you who are here under our arrest, arrange your sureties for the days when you must answer. We owe little thanks to your love, and expect little help from your hands. York enters with King Richard and officers bearing the crown and other royal objects. Alas, why am I sent for to stand before a king before I have shaken off the royal thoughts with which I reigned? I have hardly yet learned how to insinuate, flatter, bow, and bend my knee. Let sorrow have a little time to teach me this submission. Yet I remember these men's favours well. Were they not once mine? Did they not once cry all hail to me? Judas did the same to Christ, but Christ among 12 found truth in all but one. I, among 12,000, find none. God save the king. Will no man say amen? Am I both priest and clerk? Well then, amen. God save the king, although I am not he, and yet amen, if heaven thinks he is me. What service have I been sent here to do? Do the duty you offered of your own free will when weary majesty made you offer it. Resign your rank and crown to Henry Bolingbroke. Give me the crown. Here, cousin, take hold of the crown. Here, cousin, my hand on this side, yours on that. Now this golden crown is like a deep well with 2 buckets, one filling as the other rises. The emptier one dances up in the air, while the other sinks down unseen, full of water. I am the bucket sunk down, full of tears, drinking my own griefs, while you rise high above me. I thought you were willing to resign. I am willing to give up my crown, but my griefs are still my own. You may take away my honours and my state, but not my griefs. I am still king over those. You give me part of your cares along with your crown. Your new cares rising up do not pull my cares down. My care is the loss of care, caused by the old care I have held. Your care is the gain of care, won by your new care. The cares I give away are still mine, though I have given them. They belong to the crown, yet they stay with me. Are you content to resign the crown? Yes, no, no, yes, for I must be nothing. Therefore, no, no, for I resign it to you. Now watch how I undo myself. I give this heavy weight from off my head, and this awkward sceptre from my hand, and the pride of royal rule from out of my heart. With my own tears I wash away my anointing balm. With my own hands I give away my crown. With my own tongue I deny my sacred state. With my own breath I release all dutiful oaths. I renounce all pomp and majesty. I give up my manors, rents, and revenues. I disown my acts, decrees, and statutes. God pardon all oaths that are broken to me. God keep all vows unbroken that are made to you. Let me who have nothing be grieved by nothing, and let you who have won everything be pleased with all. Long may you live to sit in Richard's seat, and may Richard soon lie in an earthly grave. God save King Henry, says unkinged Richard, and send him many years of sunny days. What remains? Northumberland offers a paper. Nothing more, except that you read these accusations, these serious crimes committed by you and by your followers against the state and welfare of this land, so that, by confessing them, men may judge that you are rightly deposed. Must I do that? Must I unravel the follies I have woven together? Gentle Northumberland, if your offences were written down, would it not shame you before such a noble company to read a lesson from them? If you did, you would find one monstrous charge there, the deposing of a king, and the breaking of the strong authority of an oath, marked with a stain and damned in the book of heaven. No, all of you who stand here looking at me while my misery makes a spectacle of itself, though some of you, like Pelate, wash your hands and show outward pity, you Pelates have delivered me here to my bitter cross, and water cannot wash away your sin. My lord, make haste. Read over these articles. My eyes are full of tears, I cannot see. And yet salt water does not blind them so much that they cannot see a crowd of traitors here. No, if I turn my eyes upon myself, I find myself a traitor with the rest, for here I have given my soul's consent to strip the splendid body of a king, to make glory low, sovereignty a slave, proud majesty a subject, and royal state a peasant. My lord. No lord of yours, you proud insulting man, and no man's lord. I have no name, no title, no, not even the name given me at the font, for that too has been usurped. Alas, this heavy day! I have lived through so many winters and now do not know what name to call myself. Oh, I wish I were a mock king made of snow, standing before the son of Bolingbroke, so I could melt myself away into drops of water. Good king, great king, and yet not greatly good, if my word is still worth anything in England, let it command a mirror to be brought here at once, so it may show me what face I have now that it is bankrupt of its majesty. Go, some of you, and fetch a looking-glass. An attendant exits. Read over this paper while the glass is coming. Devil, you torment me before I come to hell. Press him no further, my lord Northumberland. Then the Commons will not be satisfied. They shall be satisfied. I will read enough when I see the very book in which all my sins are written, and that book is myself. The attendant returns with the glass. Give me that glass, and in it I will read. No deeper wrinkles yet? Has sorrow struck so many blows upon my face and made no deeper wounds? O flattering glass, like my followers when I was prosperous, you deceive me. Was this the face that kept 10,000 men every day beneath its household roof? Was this the face that, like the sun, made those who looked at it blink? Is this the face that faced so many follies, and at last was outfaced by Bolingbroke? Fragile glory shines in this face. As fragile as the glory is the face. King Richard dashes the glass against the ground. There it lies, cracked into 100 pieces. Mark this lesson in the act, silent king. See how quickly my sorrow has destroyed my face. The shadow of your sorrow has destroyed the shadow of your face. Say that again. The shadow of my sorrow? Ha, let me think. It is very true. My grief lies all within, and these outward forms of lament are only shadows of the unseen grief that swells in silence in the tortured soul. There is the real substance. And I thank you, king, for your great generosity. You not only give me cause to mourn, but teach me how to mourn the cause. I will beg one favor, and then I will be gone and trouble you no more. Shall I receive it? Name it, fair cousin. Fair cousin? I am greater than a king. When I was a king, my flatterers were only subjects. Now that I am a subject, I have a king here as my flatterer. Being so great, I have no need to beg. Still asked. And shall I have it? You shall. Then give me permission to go. Where? Wherever you wish, as long as I am out of your sight. Go, some of you, take him to the tower. Oh, good. Take him? You are all takers and thieves, rising so quickly by a true king's fall. King Richard exits under guard. Next Wednesday we will solemnly appoint our coronation. Lords, prepare yourselves. All exit except the Bishop of Carlisle, the Abbot of Westminster, and Almerle. What a sorrowful spectacle we have seen here. The sorrow is still to come. Children not yet born will feel this day as sharply as a thorn. You holy clergymen, is there no plot to rid the realm of this poisonous stain? My lord, before I speak my mind freely about this, you must not only take the sacrament to keep my intentions buried in secrecy, but also swear to carry out whatever I may devise. I see your brows are full of discontent, your hearts of sorrow, and your eyes of tears. Come home with me to supper. I will set out a plan that shall bring us all a happy day. They exit.
And they repose on an empty throne and a crown that has changed heads. Richard, who would not fight, has talked and wept his sceptre away. Bolingbroke is king in all but the last formality, and the Bishop of Carlisle has spoken the warning that hangs over the whole rest of these histories, that this deposing of an anointed king will sow England with the blood of children's children. A deposed man is now only a danger to be kept somewhere out of sight. Next time, in the last part, a sorrowful parting, a foiled plot, a hinted murder, and a king dying alone in a dungeon at Pomfret. Mind the footnotes, and beware the folly.